celestial travelers. I am Maya Cat, back with the new episode of my astrology blog. From September 2025 to February 2026, Saturn makes its legendary final loop through dreamy Pisces before charging into Aries for a whole new 7-year chapter. Today, we explore Saturn's farewell waltz through Pisces, a period of intense karmic cleanup, emotional audits, and last chances to tie up loose ends. And because no cosmic deep dive is complete without a little extra wisdom, I've called in my dear friend and intellectual co-pilot, the astrological oracle Brian. So grab your popcorn, pour that glass of wine or cup of chamomile tea, and let him serve the celestial wisdom. Brian, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Maya. You always know how to spark curiosity. Let's uncover exactly how these astral alignments will shape our paths and why embracing change could lead to magic. In the grand celestial theatre where planets pirouette across the zodiac like seasoned performers taking their final bows, Saturn prepares for one last dramatic loop before exiting stage left from Pisces into Aries. From September 1st, 2025 to February 14th, 2026, the ringed Titan embarks on what astrologers affectionately call the closing loop, a final pass through Pisces, retracing its earlier steps in a cosmic encore that's less of a victory lap and more of a stern pop quiz before final exams. During this period, Earth will slide between the Sun and Saturn, placing the planet in opposition, a celestial alignment that makes Saturn shine brighter and stay visible all night long as if it's spotlighting its own performance. But don't be fooled by the glow. Saturn isn't here to dazzle, it's here to deliver. With clipboard in hand and a no-nonsense expression, it returns to Pisces not to celebrate, but to audit, to settle accounts and to close unfinished business, especially for those born under the dreamy, drifting sign of the fish. Saturn first entered Pisces in March 2023, marking the beginning of a 3-year journey through the 12th sign. A transit that for many Pisceans felt less like a spiritual awakening and more like an unexpected tax audit from the universe. Now, as Saturn dips back into Pisces in September 2025, briefly before its permanent move into Aries in early 2026, it's like the inspector returning for a follow-up visit. Just making sure you fixed those leaks we talked about, it seems to say, peering under the sink of your soul. This isn't new territory. Most Pisces have already weathered the initial storm of Saturn's transit. The emotional heaviness, the health scares, the sudden weight of family obligations, the financial pinch, and the creeping sense of being pulled in too many directions. Many reported feeling drained, demotivated, and emotionally underwater, as if they'd been swimming through molasses while everyone else was jogging on solid ground. And let's be honest, Pisces don't exactly throw welcome back parties for Saturn. In fact, their general reaction to Saturn in Pisces could be summed up as, "Oh no, not you again." It's like finally getting rid of a strict landlord only to see him show up at your door with a checklist and a flashlight. But here's the twist. This return isn't necessarily about new crises, it's about closure. Saturn isn't planting new seeds, it's harvesting what was sown during its earlier passage. For Pisces, who took the first wave seriously, who faced their responsibilities, tightened their budgets, set boundaries, and actually did the work, this final loop could bring a sense of stabilization, even relief. It might feel like finally passing a course you barely survived, or getting your deposit back after a thorough apartment inspection. By mid-February 2026, Saturn, along with Neptune, will finally and fully enter Aries, closing the Pisces chapter for good. The mutable signs, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, will breathe a collective sigh of relief as Saturn's tense aspects dissolve. The pressure lifts, the weight shifts. But make no mistake, this final loop isn't just an epilogue. It's the last chance to tie up loose ends, to prove you've learned the lesson, to show Saturn that you're ready for the next level. For some, it will bring closure. For others, consequences. And for a lucky few, a quiet sense of pride. Not because it was easy, but because they didn't quit. So to all the Pisces out there, hang in there, the inspector is leaving. Just don't forget to lock the door behind him. For those who avoided the hard truths, however, Saturn's return may feel like a cosmic "are we still not doing this" moment. Unresolved family tensions, half-finished projects, ignored health warnings, or financial oversights may resurface with a knowing glance and a raised eyebrow. The Saturn loop from September 2025 to February 2026 isn't just a farewell tour for Pisces, it's a final karmic sweep across the zodiac, touching every sign in its path with lessons, limitations, and the occasional cosmic curveball. While the mutable signs, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, bear the brunt of Saturn's direct aspects, the fixed and cardinal signs aren't spared from its influence. Saturn doesn't shout, it waits, and now it's back to see who learned the lesson. While Pisces are busy dodging Saturn's second wave, Aries are standing on the shore watching the storm roll in, because in 2026 they're the ones getting soaked. Saturn's upcoming move into Aries marks the beginning of a serious 7-year chapter focused on responsibility, discipline, and long-term goals. This final loop in Pisces, it's like the quiet breath before the plunge. For Aries, this period serves as a preview of what's coming, a subtle shift in energy, a faint echo of the weight they'll soon carry. If you're an Aries who's felt little so far, consider yourself lucky, or perhaps just unprepared. Because when Saturn fully enters your sign, it won't be asking nicely. It'll be demanding structure, accountability, and maturity, things that don't always come naturally to the fiery trailblazers of the zodiac. But here's the silver lining. Saturn in Aries can build something real. It's the difference between building a sandcastle and laying a foundation. So while the next few years may feel restrictive, they'll also be deeply formative. This final Pisces loop, think of it as Saturn clearing its throat before the main speech. For Taurus, Saturn's return to Pisces activates the 8th house, the realm of shared resources, intimacy, transformation, and other people's money. This isn't the kind of pressure that shouts, it whispers, it creeps in through bank statements, insurance claims, joint finances, or emotional debts long overdue. Taurus, ever the guardian of stability and comfort, may find themselves confronting financial obligations they'd rather ignore. Perhaps a loan, inheritance issue, tax matter, or investment that's underperforming. Or the tension may be more intimate, power struggles in relationships, secrets surfacing, or a partner's emotional withdrawal that forces Taurus to face vulnerability they'd prefer to bury under a pile of cashmere and good wine. Saturn in Pisces doesn't demand action, it demands awareness. It asks Taurus, what are you avoiding in the depths? What fears about loss, dependency, or control are you numbing with material security? This final loop may bring a quiet crisis, not dramatic but deeply transformative, one that strips away illusions and asks Taurus to trust something deeper than money, trust in process, in healing, in the unseen. The good news, if Taurus can face these shadows without running, this period could lay the foundation for profound emotional and financial resilience, just in time for Saturn's move into Aries, where personal growth becomes non-negotiable. For Gemini, Saturn's return to Pisces reignites an old tension, the square aspect that's been a thorn in their side since 2023. Representing the 10th house of career, authority, and public image, this placement has brought pressure from bosses, institutions, and life's invisible rulebooks. And just when some Geminis thought they might finally catch a break, Saturn loops back like a strict teacher, returning a poorly written essay with "See me after class" scrawled across the top. Geminis thrive on freedom, flexibility, and mental stimulation, not rigid schedules, bureaucratic red tape, or the weight of long-term commitments. Saturn in Pisces has felt like being asked to dance in concrete shoes. And now, with Saturn's return, that discomfort returns with a vengeance. Yet there's a lesson here, one that Gemini may finally be ready to hear. Freedom isn't the absence of rules, it's the ability to work within them without losing yourself. This final pass may force Geminis to confront their tendency to avoid depth, to flit from one thing to the next, or to talk their way out of responsibility. Saturn isn't impressed by cleverness alone, it wants follow-through. For Cancer, Saturn dances along the cusp of the 10th house, the realm of career, ambition, and public standing. This has been a time of quiet transformation, where long-term goals are being tested and recognition is earned slowly, if at all. Saturn doesn't hand out trophies, it demands endurance. Cancers may have felt pressure from authority figures, challenges in balancing personal needs with professional duties, or shifts in family dynamics that ripple into their public life. With Saturn's return, these themes resurface, not to punish, but to clarify. Are you building a career that aligns with your values? Are you letting fear of failure hold you back? Saturn wants answers, not excuses. For Leo, Saturn's return to Pisces touches the 6th house, the domain of daily routines, health, work, and service. And let's be honest, this is not Leo's favorite room in the astrological mansion. Saturn here doesn't care about your charisma, your flair, or your ability to command a room. It cares whether you showed up on time, finished your reports, and took your vitamins. This final loop may bring renewed pressure around job performance, workplace responsibilities, or health routines that have been neglected. Leos who've been coasting on talent alone may suddenly find the universe demanding effort, that chronic fatigue. Saturn says it's time to address it. That project you've been putting off, it's now officially overdue. But Saturn isn't here to crush Leo's spirit, it's here to refine it. True royalty isn't born from attention, it's earned through discipline. This period challenges Leo to find dignity in the mundane, to lead not just on stage, but behind the scenes, to be magnificent not when the lights are on, but when no one's watching. If Leo can embrace the grind without losing their spark, this final Saturn loop could build a foundation of strength and reliability that outshines any momentary fame. For Virgo, Saturn's return to Pisces activates the opposition, a classic tension between self and other, independence and partnership. And in this case, Saturn may manifest through a partner, colleague, or even a health regimen that feels overly demanding. Suddenly, someone or something is holding Virgo to a higher standard. This could show up as relationship imbalances, unfair divisions of labor, or a partner who embodies Saturn's stern energy, critical, disciplined, and unforgiving of mistakes. Or it could be a health routine that's hard to maintain, a job that requires perfection, or a daily structure that feels more like a prison than a plan. But here's the secret. Saturn opposes Virgo not to torment them, but to teach them balance. The very qualities Virgo admires, precision, order, service, can become their own prison if taken too far. This period asks, can you be meticulous without being obsessive? Can you serve without losing yourself? Libra, ruled by balance and fairness, has had a rough ride with Saturn in Aries, a sign that values action over compromise, self over partnership. Many Libras have faced legal issues, relationship conflicts, or disruptions to their daily routines. Saturn in Aries doesn't play fair. It moves fast, acts first, and rarely looks back. Now, as Saturn loops back into Pisces, Libra may feel a temporary reprieve. But the lesson isn't over. The universe is still asking, where did you avoid accountability? Where did you prioritize harmony over honesty? Saturn's final pass gives Libra one last chance to restore balance, not by giving in, but by standing firm. For Scorpio, Saturn in Pisces stirs the 12th house, the shadow realm of secrets, solitude, subconscious patterns, and endings. This is deep water, even for a sign that lives in the depths. Saturn here doesn't bring drama, it brings reckoning. Old wounds, buried emotions, self-sabotaging habits, or spiritual stagnation may rise to the surface like bubbles from the ocean floor. Scorpio may feel unusually fatigued, withdrawn, or haunted by a sense of something unresolved. This could manifest as insomnia, anxiety, or a sudden urge to retreat, not out of laziness, but because the soul is demanding a purge. Saturn says, you can't transform what you won't face. This final loop may also bring karmic encounters. People from the past, unresolved situations, or institutions, hospitals, prisons, rehab centers, that symbolize confinement, either literal or emotional. For some Scorpios, this could involve legal or health matters tied to hidden factors. But here's the gift. Saturn in the 12th isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's the universe saying, before you rise again, you must release what's holding you down. This is a time for therapy, meditation, journaling, or spiritual retreats. For Scorpio, the greatest power isn't control, it's surrender. And this final Saturn loop may be the most profound act of alchemy they've undergone in years. For Sagittarius, Saturn in Pisces forms a square to their sign, a tense aspect that often manifests through restrictions around home, family, or living situations. This could mean conflicts with roommates, pressure from landlords, health issues within the household, or financial strain tied to property or family obligations. Sagittarians who crave freedom and adventure may feel particularly stifled during this time. But Saturn's message is clear. Before you can expand, you must stabilize. Before you can travel, you must tend to your base. This final loop is a reminder that even the most restless spirit needs a home to return to. For Capricorn, Saturn's return to Pisces activates the 7th house, the house of partnerships, contracts, and one-on-one relationships. And yes, the irony is thick enough to spread on toast. Saturn, your ruling planet, is in Pisces, challenging your relationships. It's like your personal trainer showing up to critique your diet while you're trying to close a business deal. This period may highlight imbalances in relationships, whether romantic, business, or creative collaborations. Capricorn may feel let down by a partner's lack of discipline or frustrated by someone who doesn't share their long-term vision. Alternatively, they may be forced to confront their own emotional detachment, the walls they've built in the name of professionalism. Saturn asks, who truly has your back? And more importantly, are you allowing anyone to? Capricorn's strength is independence, but Saturn's final loop reminds them that even the most ambitious mountain climber needs a reliable rope team. This isn't about romance, it's about reliability. Contracts may need renegotiation, partnerships may end, or new alliances may form based on mutual respect rather than convenience. The lesson? Success isn't just what you achieve, it's who you achieve it with. For Aquarius, Saturn in Pisces touches the 6th house. Yes, the same house that challenges Leo, but with a very different flavor. While Leo suffers the indignity of routine, Aquarius chafes at the system. Saturn here highlights inefficiencies at work, bureaucratic absurdities, or health routines that clash with their desire for freedom and innovation. Aquarians may feel trapped in jobs that stifle their creativity, burdened by co-workers who don't share their vision, or frustrated by health protocols that feel outdated. Why are we still doing it this way? Becomes a daily refrain. But Saturn's answer is simple, because you haven't built a better one yet. This final loop challenges Aquarius to stop rebelling against the system and start rebuilding it, one practical step at a time. Can you innovate within constraints? Can you bring your revolutionary ideas into the real world without burning the whole thing down? Saturn isn't asking Aquarius to conform, it's asking them to lead from within, to be the change, not just the critic. And if they can do that, this period could lay the groundwork for a career that's not just disruptive, but durable. We've spoken of Pisces before, but let's return to them because this final Saturn loop is their graduation ceremony. After 3 years of emotional weight, health concerns, family obligations, and financial strain, Saturn returns not to punish, but to assess. Did you set boundaries? Did you stop rescuing everyone else at the expense of your own well-being? Did you finally admit you needed help and ask for it? Saturn doesn't expect perfection, it expects accountability. For Pisces who've done the work, this period may feel like a quiet release. A sense of closure, clarity, or even unexpected support from unexpected places. The universe rewards those who face their shadows without drowning in them. For those who've avoided the lessons, Saturn may deliver a final wake-up call through health, relationships, or financial pressure that says you can't float forever. Eventually you have to swim. But here's the beautiful paradox. Saturn in Pisces is a harsh teacher in a gentle sign. It brings hardship, yes, but also profound compassion, spiritual growth, and the kind of strength that only comes from surviving your own depth. And when Saturn finally leaves Pisces in February 2026, it won't just be moving on, it will be leaving behind a generation of Pisces who are no longer just dreamers, they're survivors. From September 2025 to February 2026, Saturn's final loop through Pisces isn't about new beginnings. It's about finishing what you started. It's the last chance to clean the attic, balance the books, and make peace with the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. For some, it will feel like a second wave of hardship. For others, a quiet resolution. But for all, it's a reminder. Saturn rewards those who show up. Not the loudest, not the flashiest. Just the ones who keep going, even when no one's watching. So whatever your sign, take a breath. The inspector is leaving, but the lessons, those stay forever.
And there you have it, my cosmic companions. Remember, every challenge is just a stepping stone to greatness. If you enjoyed this episode, Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe so we can keep exploring together, and drop a comment to share your thoughts. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep chasing those dreams. Meow off.